Hey, gorgeous! Welcome to the Business Mindset Podcast with Holly Worton, which combines powerful strategies on how to upgrade your business mindset along with practical business tips to grow your business. This podcast features solo shows with Holly and also interviews with inspiring women entrepreneurs from around the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. And now, here's your host, Holly Worton.
Hello, and welcome to the Business Mindset Podcast, episode 215. This is your host, Holly Worton, and I'm back with another solo episode. Today, I'm going to talk about social proof as a form of visibility. We're going to talk about reviews, testimonials, shoutouts, all that stuff. And I'm really excited to talk about this. But before I get into that, I want to bring up a couple of shows that I have recently been a guest on, because I think it's really important to share other people's podcasts where I've been a guest so that you can find potential new podcasts to listen to and also hear what it's like to listen to me engage with other people from the other side of the mic. So I was recently interviewed on the Unstoppable Coach podcast with Millette Jones, and we talked about all stuff mindset related. I had a really, really great time on this show. We talked about coaching, my background and how I've grown my coaching business, and I really enjoyed it. So I would recommend you check that out. If you go to hollyworton.com/unstoppable, that will redirect to Millette's website and you can check it out there. And of course, as always, if you enjoy the podcast, rate and review it on iTunes and subscribe. So that's the first one. Second one, Kelly Covert interviewed me for her podcast, which is called In Her Voice. And we talked all about mindset. And if you go to hollyworton.com/voice, that will redirect to Kelly's website. And I hope you enjoy that episode. That was a really fun episode. Kelly was also a guest on this show, which you may remember from a recent episode, number 210, which was not that long ago. And so Kelly had a great chat about mindset, and I think you will enjoy it. So have a look at that. And again, please rate, review, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Finally, I was a guest for the second time on Amanda Cook's Wellpreneur podcast. And if you go to hollyworton.com/wellpreneur, you can hear us talking about intuitive business. It was a really fun episode getting down to the woo side of business and talking about different ways that we tap into our intuition and how you can tap into your intuition to build your business. We talked about oracle cards. We talked about my business intuition book. We talked about Amanda's Wellpreneur book. We talked about all kinds of stuff. So there you go. hollyworton.com/wellpreneur, and that will get you to that episode. And again, please rate, review, and subscribe if you enjoyed the episode. So that is all for now in terms of places I've been. So let's get back to the topic at hand. I wanted to, as I said, talk about social proof, and that's a crappy marketing phrase that I really dislike. But we've got these phrases and that's what things are called, and we could make up new terms for them, but it's not going to take away the fact that people call it that. So what the heck is social proof? It's when you give a review for a book, or a rating or review, as I've just said, for podcasts, or a testimonial for someone's website, or a shout out. That stuff is all social proof. So the idea is that when you go to someone's website or to their sales page and you think, oh, well, who is this person? Do I want to work with them? And you see their testimonials on your website, you think, oh, okay, well, this is a person that other people know, like, and trust. So I guess that makes them more trustworthy, and maybe I'll give them a go. That's it in a nutshell. I'm sure you've gone to other people's testimonial pages on their website or on their sale page. I always find it interesting to see when I'm looking at someone's sales page, who's given them testimonials. Is it anyone I know? And that always makes a person more trustworthy, because word of mouth recommendations are really powerful. Because if I enjoyed working with someone, then maybe my friends will enjoy working with them too. I refer people all the time. And generally speaking, people are happy with the people I've referred them to, because friends are kind of similar, and something that I like might be something that my friends like. So it makes sense. So in the same way that we give word of mouth recommendations, website testimonials kind of complete the same function. This is a topic that popped into a session I had with my friend Jo Worton this morning. She was giving me a session on health and wellness stuff using 2 techniques that she's trained in, Meta Health and AM, Energy Alignment Method. I will share links to all of this in the show notes. And somehow the topic came up of, that Amazon review that I keep talking about, that I've blogged about, and I've talked about online, and I think I've talked about it on the podcast more than once. And so I brought that up again, and I was saying how useful it was for me to receive that because it was so painful. And then I learned from stuff as I was working through the stuff that came up around that. But also we were talking about how important it is to have lots of positive reviews so that when people see the negative reviews, they're not swayed in that direction, thinking that whatever it is thing that you've created is a piece of crap because you've just got these horrible reviews. And we ended up talking about how some people are really, really generous when it comes to giving shout outs and testimonials and reviews. And some people, I think, just don't think about it. So what I'm going to talk about in today's episode is giving, not feedback, it's more like giving shout outs, giving testimonials, giving reviews, and at the same time receiving and asking for testimonials, reviews, shout outs for yourself. We're going to talk a little bit about the mindset that you need to make this happen easily on both ends and how you can take action today. So let's get into it. Let's start with giving because I think it's really, really important to give if you want to receive. So let's look at giving social proof. So I see this as a way to say thank you for a service that we've received, a way to express our gratitude. One thing is to just say, thank you so much. That was an amazing session. I really enjoyed working with you. And that's fantastic. And I think it's important, but it's even more powerful when we can go online and give the person a shout out or write them a testimonial for their website, because that will help them get more clients or more readers or more watchers or listeners or whatever. Giving this review, this shout out, this testimonial is going to help them grow their business. And I think this is an important thing to point out because if we're all helping each other, obviously not giving fake reviews, but if we're all helping each other by reviewing and giving testimonials to the things that we really enjoyed, we're lifting each other up. And it doesn't take that long to write a review or to write a testimonial. It's just a couple of lines, and that can make such a big difference for people. So what are things that you can do? So I had 2 healing sessions today, which is quite unusual. I had that session with Jo, had another sound healing session with Judith Quinn. And again, I will put her details in the show notes. And after each session, I went straight to Facebook and I said, wow, I just had a great session with Jo, great session with Judith. We worked on some deep stuff. I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend her. Boom, that's it. It took me probably 30 seconds to do, a minute if you include clicking onto Facebook and getting in and out of it. But it gives her that shout out and it allows other people to see, oh, this is who Holly works with. Because I work with myself all the time using heart-centered energy work, and yes, I still use Psyche with myself. And I find it really useful. I find it really powerful. But there's only so much I can do on my own. And I find that to really dig deeper and to get to the deeper stuff, that's where I need to get help from other people. Working with Jo, for example, she's really intuitive. We got to places I never would have thought to go if I had been doing this work on my own. So that was really powerful. And working with her, even though we were working on health and wellness stuff, obviously life stuff and past life stuff came up. And has given me loads of stuff to think about and new perspectives for my work, and it's been really powerful. The sessions with Judith, she works with sound healing, just something I'd never experienced before. I love it because it's vibrational. It's like an embodied experience, and it's not something that comes from your head. And a lot of the stuff that I do, especially the Psyche, is very head-based. It's about creating belief statements and programming those belief statements into your subconscious mind. So I find it really useful to do stuff that works with the body, like heart-centered energy work, like this sound healing. So I find it really, really useful to work with other people to dig even deeper than I can sometimes go on my own because I have limitations. I'm stuck in my head all day. Well, not stuck. It's really nice in here. But I'm in my head all day. And so I don't have the same perspective that someone else has when they come to me or I go to them and they help me and they ask me questions and they can help me dig deeper and they can help me dig into places that I hadn't thought to dig. So that's why I work with myself and I also work with other people. But I find it really fascinating to see who other people work with. Because, like I said at the beginning, if my friends are working with someone, then they might be a good fit for me, rather than finding some random person on the internet. So there's a lot of power in that. So you can give them a shout out on Facebook or somewhere else online as soon as the session is over. You can write up a testimonial for them that they can use on their website. And this is also really important because having a testimonial, your testimonial on someone else's website, also gives you visibility. Because usually people include your photo, your name, either your tagline or what it is that you do, and that might generate clients for you because someone might be looking at that sales page of that website and think, oh, so-and-so, oh my God, she does that. I've been looking for someone who does that thing. And then they'll click to your website and they might become a client. So when you give someone else a testimonial for their website, not only are you helping them, but that might come back to you. And the same goes for Facebook, because if you tag them in a post, they put the post on their timeline. Other people might see that and think, oh, who is this person? And click on it. They might not. But it's a way to get that energy moving, that energy of word of mouth, recommendations that will lift us all up. The same goes for books. If you've read a book lately that you enjoyed, if you've read a book this year that you enjoyed in your lifetime, go to Goodreads, go to Amazon, review that book. On Goodreads, you don't even need to write a review. You can just give it a star rating, and that takes seconds. In Amazon, you do have to write a review, you have to write a headline, you have to give it a star rating, and you have to write a very short review. Really, you only have to write a couple of lines. And Amazon reviews are so powerful and so helpful to readers, assuming the reviews are positive, because they can really help lift up the ratings of the book, make the book be more visible when people are searching for a book like that, and can really, really help the author get more sales. So it only takes a couple of minutes of your time, and if you enjoyed a book, especially if you're kind of a new emerging writer that may not have thousands or hundreds or even 20, 30, 40 reviews on Amazon, it's especially important to help them. So reviews of books, reviews of podcasts like this one, like any other podcast that you listen to, those are really, really helpful because people who are searching and looking for a podcast on a particular topic, if they see that it's got a lot of great reviews, they're more likely to try it and get more readers. And it only takes a couple of minutes. You can do it from your computer, you can do it from your phone, and it only takes a couple of minutes. Referrals, referring people or podcasts or books or whatever to other people, that's also really powerful. Saying, hey, I read this book, it was amazing. Posting that on social media. And then you can write a blog post telling stories about maybe the top 10 books that you've read this year, or the top 10 healers that you've worked with, or therapists or coaches or whatever. You can write about that, or you could do a video about that, or you could do a podcast episode about that and give a big shout out to these books, these podcasts, these healers, whatever. That's also really powerful. There's so many ways that you can give back and express your gratitude through giving shout outs and giving people a boost in social proof. So I think it's really important to make it a habit. So I have the habit of whenever I get off a session with someone, I will go onto Facebook and I will give them a shout out. That's pretty common for me. And when I finish working with someone, I will usually write them a testimonial if they haven't already asked me for one. Sometimes people will give you guidelines on how to write a testimonial, or you can just write it yourself with whatever comes from your heart. So I have that little system. Develop a system that works for you. Reviewing a book as soon as you finished it, reviewing a podcast as soon as you've discovered it and listened to a couple of episodes that you like. Figure out what works for you, but find a system that makes it easy for you to give back by giving those testimonials, reviews, shout outs. And like I said, I do truly believe that what goes around comes around. And if you are spreading the love, if you are recommending people, it's going to come back to you. Maybe not through the exact same people that you've recommended, but the energy is going to come back. And I know that sounds really vague, but that's something that I deeply, deeply believe. You can write a testimonial for someone and copy and paste it in different places. So if you write a testimonial for their website, you could copy and paste it on LinkedIn. You could copy and paste it on a blog post, or if you decide to do kind of a compilation blog post of stuff that's been useful to you. So you don't have to keep writing and writing and writing and creating. You can write one thing and then use it in different places. If you have a resources page on your website where you like to refer books, courses, people, you can do that as well. That's another great way to help people out by sending other people their way. Now, even though, as I said, I do believe that what goes around comes around, if you're spreading the love will come back to you, but that doesn't mean that you need to sit back and take a passive stance in this situation. I do think it's really important for us to speak up and to ask for testimonials because some people don't think about giving them. So again, this is something that you want to develop a system for. So if you work with clients in a package setting, develop a system where you send them automatically an email at the end of their package saying, it was great to work with you, I really enjoyed it, asking them for a testimonial. And it's really useful if you write email templates that you can use for this. So you don't have to write the same email over and over. You just copy and paste and give them some guidelines. What is it that you want them to include in the testimonial? Do you want them to mention where they were when they first started working with you, where they are now, what they learned, how it was useful to them? Give them some guidelines because not everyone is accustomed to doing this and not everyone will know what to say. Some people it will be easier than others, but the more guidelines you give them, the easier it is. Now, if you're the kind of person that uses intake forms in your business, you will have feedback as to where they were at the beginning. And then if you have a little chat with them at the end of the package, you can get a clear idea of where they are now compared to that. You have that information. You can feed that back to them in the email and say, hey, you said you were here, now you're here. Could you please, mention something like that or whatever you're comfortable with in the testimonial. Obviously, testimonials are more powerful if you've got a name and a face to them, but I think that if someone's not comfortable with that, then that's fine too. You've got to go with what they're comfortable with. Also, you may see people giving you shout outs on the web, whether it's on Twitter, on Facebook. Screenshot all of those and keep those in a folder. I think that's really useful to have so that you can look through on days when you're feeling down in your business. But if you get people's permission, you can also use them on your website and on your sales pages. So that's really powerful. Also, asking for referrals. Ask clients to refer you. So if you have clients that you really enjoyed working with, ask them to refer you to friends, or if they know of anyone who might benefit from working with you. Maybe set up a referral program where if they refer X amount of people, they get a free session or money back, or put something together like that and ask people to refer you. Again, some clients are a better fit for us than others. So if you go through your top X amount of clients and ask them for referrals, you're more likely to get great clients like them. So that's rather than random people from the internet, which is also good because you find new people, but we want to serve the people that we can most serve and who can most benefit from working with us. So that's why I think referrals are so powerful, because friends are similar to friends. You can also create case studies and tell stories. So you can ask clients if that's possible, if that's okay for you to write up a case story based on your work with them. But again, that's the kind of thing you really have to ask for. So develop a system for asking for testimonials. If you want to do case studies, asking for that. Ask, and develop a system to make it easy for you to do this. That's really important. So, like I said, develop a system where you send out an email at the end of their package. Develop, if you do single sessions, at the end of the session when you're sending the client notes or the session notes. Find what works for you and ask. You do need to ask. So next, I wanted to talk about mindset, because a lot of people don't like asking. A lot of people don't like asking for help. A lot of people don't like asking for testimonials. A lot of people don't feel comfortable with this. So figure out what you need to believe about yourself and about your business in order for it to be easy for you to ask for testimonials and ask for case studies and ask for help in this way. What do you need to believe about yourself and about your business? Who do you need to be in order to be that person who easily asks for testimonials? What fears or blocks do you have? What resistance do you have around asking for help, asking for testimonials? And what do you need to believe in order to make this happen? That's really, really, really important stuff. I would really recommend that you spend some time looking at this. So like, what do you currently believe about your ability to easily ask for testimonials? And then maybe journal on it, dig this stuff up, work with someone else, get someone to ask you questions, and then do the mindset work. to shift your beliefs and shift your blocks at the deeper level. So I'm always talking about this. I'm always talking about you've got to work at the subconscious level. You've got to work at the energy level and shift that stuff so that you can get the mindset that you need in order to make this easy. So taking action is a really important part of doing the mindset work. I also always talk about this. You've always got to have an action plan. You've always got to do the mindset work and take action. And that's how you move up the spiral staircase of business and get to those higher levels and grow as an entrepreneur and as an individual. So take action today. What are some actions that you could take? I would like to ask you or suggest that you take at least one action in the category of giving and one action in the category of receiving. So giving, you could review the last book that you read on either Amazon or Goodreads, or take it a step further and review the last 3 books that you read on Amazon or Goodreads. Take a look at the last healer or coach that you worked with. Write them a testimonial. Or take it a step further and look at the last 3 people that you worked with and write 3 testimonials for them. Give someone a shout out. Write a blog post about how these people or resources have helped you. Create a resources page on your website. Pick one of those things. Write it down now. Pause this podcast. Write it down now. And then get that in your calendar so you can do it. It really only takes, depending on which of those things you're choosing. If you're just writing a testimonial review, it only takes a few minutes. You could also review this podcast if you haven't already. So choose one thing in the category of giving, and then choose one thing in the category of receiving. So write the templates for asking for testimonials. Go through your social media and screenshot some old comments that people have made. Ask your favorite clients for referrals. Ask your favorite clients if you can do a case study on them. Develop a system for getting this stuff. Create your end of client package email to send. Choose one of those things and do that today, or get it in your calendar to make sure that it happens. And then start working on the other things. Work on your mindset. Make this easy for you. Because I think if we can create a world where everyone is giving shout outs and writing reviews and writing testimonials for the stuff that they enjoy, rather than sitting back and silently enjoying these things, it's going to help us all lift each other up and be more successful and have the clients and have the listeners and have the readers and have the watchers that we want in our business, on our podcast, on our YouTube channel, in our books. And the more we lift each other up in a genuine way, it's so powerful. We're lifting each other up into higher realms of visibility. I think this is a really important aspect of visibility, this social proof thing. And I think it's something that we need to make a habit of, because this is such an important way to get new clients and to create that know, like, and trust that we need for people to sign up or buy our stuff. So that's all for now. Please drop me a line and let me know what you thought about this week's episode, or ask me any questions that you might have. You can email me at holly@hollyworton.com. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram and get in touch. I'm on other social places as well. Don't hang out very much on LinkedIn, but I am there. So get in touch. And I would love to give you a shout out on the show. So if you'd like me to read aloud your question or comment, I would love to do that as well. And are you interested in being a special guest on the Business Mindset podcast? I would love to chat with one of my listeners on a future episode. I would love to hear about who you are, what you do, how the podcast has helped you in your business, which are your favorite episodes, and how changing your mindset has changed your life and business. Does that sound good? If so, head over to hollyworton.com/guest and fill out the form. I will, at some time this year, probably towards the end of the year, be doing a special guest episode interviewing one of my listeners. I would also love for you to join me in my private Facebook group, Business Mindset Alchemists, so we can continue the conversation there. Podcasting is such a one-way conversation. It's just me talking to you in your ears. So I would love to get some feedback from you in the group. It's now open up to men. Business Mindset Alchemists is a group dedicated to exploring business mindset and how you can get the mindset you need to achieve your dreams. So whether you're a man or a woman, if you are an entrepreneur who wants to talk about mindset, I would love to see you in there. Just go to hollyworton.com/group and you'll be redirected to the Facebook group. And that's all for now. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, you can do one of your action steps and please leave a quick review on iTunes. It would really mean the world to me. Thank you so much. And remember to visit hollyworton.com/215 for the show notes on this episode. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the Business Mindset Podcast with your host, Holly Worton. You can find more information about today's episode, including links for topics that were discussed at hollyworton.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to head over to iTunes and leave a quick review of this podcast. It just takes a minute. Thank you.